Hello, my name is Matthew Pfeiffer with mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel. On this channel, I create videos about toxic, narcissistically abusive relationships. If you have a question that you'd like for me to answer, make sure you send it to justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Again, that is justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. So make sure you keep that email 2 to 3 paragraphs max, and you're also very direct and to the point of what your question actually is. If it's too long, if it's too lengthy, or if I don't understand what you're asking, unfortunately, I will not be able to get to it. However, the fastest way to work with me is to go to the links down below to connect with me for a one-on-one session or to involve yourself into my group coaching community. And also make sure you hit the subscribe notification. Make sure you hit the bell notification so you're notified each and every time I upload a new video. So with that being said, let's get into this email. So this email comes from a person who is with someone who is separated from their wife, but is also cheating with other people and is engaging in a lot of toxic, narcissistically abusive behavior and is trying to make some sense of some of this behavior. So let's get into this. So this email reads, I think my boyfriend is a narcissist and I think I have abandonment trauma that latches onto the relationship. My father died and my apartment burned down in the last 6 months. So I'm very, very sorry to hear that. That's a lot of events in a very, very short period of time. So I'm sorry for both of those situations. He's cheated and we work together occasionally in nightlife. When I'm going through something serious, it's as if he devalues and then sources new supply, then cheats, discards, and then we break up and it's traumatic during something traumatic. So one of the things that I'm hearing, and this is very common with people who struggle on the cluster B spectrum or are narcissistic, we have to understand that when you, right, the victim is going through something traumatic, guess what? You are not available at the capacity that you normally are for the narcissist. So now you're an inconvenience and the narcissist doesn't like that. Right, so it's very common for the narcissist to become more abusive when you're going through things, when life events are happening to you. It's very common for them to cheat. This is the reason why it's common for narcissists to cheat when their significant other is pregnant. It's also very common for them to cheat or to completely leave you if you are going through a traumatic event at work. Let's say you got laid off or you were fired or let go, or in this situation, loss of loved one, or maybe you're sick. Right? Maybe you get some sort of chronic illness, or maybe it's the flu or corona, right? And so now you're an inconvenience to them. So it's very common for them to devalue, discard, or to cheat, or things like that. So it's these type of things are very common. So let me continue with this email. But this fire and my father and the latter again. And this person reels me back in with work after firing me or removing me himself. And we get back together only to do it again while he's married. We can't forget that this person is married. This person won't divorce. She says he won't divorce. It's been 10 years. We're going to circle back to that here in a second. They've been separated for 8 years. There's always an excuse why he can't get the divorce. Always an excuse. 10 years, 8 years separated, but there's always an excuse of why he can't get a divorce. Let's continue with this email. He basically lives with me, won't remove his room. How can I get him to see his pattern? It happens when he's around his parents, his mom. She is also narcissistic. I think I need more than a question. So let's get back to the original question. The question is, how can I get this person to see this pattern? And I get this question a lot from a lot of different people, is trying to get the narcissist to change in some form or fashion by getting them to see what they're doing. What makes you think that he doesn't know what he's doing? Quite often, we have this assumption that this person doesn't know what they're doing and that they even have a desire to change. Let's go through this for a second. Why would he want to? He's married, living with you. He still controls all the finances, obviously, and obviously he must be in some sort of supervisory role over you. So he's able to control you at work, able to control you at home. His wife isn't leaving, right? It's been 10 years there, 8 years separated, as you said. Why would he change anything? Everything is working in his favor. Why would he change that? So quite often, when I challenge people in situations like this, quite often we want other people to change to make ourselves feel more comfortable. When we're talking about people who are narcissistic or engaging in this type of behavior, and we have to understand this has been 10 years, right? This has been a decade. We have enough of a pattern. This is not a new dating situation, right? This is not, let's try to figure this out. We know who this person is. Right. So we have to understand that this is who he is. And so quite often people want other people to change to make themselves feel more comfortable in a situation. But quite often when we are looking and we want that other person to change, there's also dynamics about ourselves. There's change that we ourselves are avoiding. Internally, you know he's not going to change. It's been a decade of the same exact pattern. Right. So I challenge you to begin to look at yourself and look at your life and look at the life that you actually want and begin to look at what type of change are you yourself avoiding, right? I have a feeling I know what change that is, right? Because this person has not changed, will not change, right? Despite you guys breaking up, getting back together, those sorts of things, right? So there's a change that you would like to see from them, but we have to accept this person for who they actually are. And that also includes some of the things that we don't really care for. This also means, right, that sometimes when we are getting to a point of accepting this person for who they actually are, right, we have to understand that you're probably trauma bonded to this person by this point. And these things are very difficult. And you mentioned abandonment issues, right? So you're afraid of abandonment, you're afraid of being rejected. However, you can make an argument that it's happening regardless, even though you're still quote unquote in the relationship. But we have to understand that the likelihood of this changing after he's shown all of this for the last 10 years is little to none. And we also can't assume that, number one, he doesn't know. Number two, that he would even care. Why would he make any changes? Because this type of behavior benefits him, right? So we have no control over other people, zero control over other people. So instead of avoiding the change that we need to make ourselves, we need to look at that change that we probably already know that we probably need to make, that we're afraid of making, which is in this type of situation, possibly and probably leaving into the relationship. Healing ourselves. Quite often people don't want to heal. And so we need to take a look at that. What is it that you yourself are trying to avoid in this situation by doing what you probably know to be right? Thank you very much for writing in. For those of you who would like to write into me and ask me a question, make sure you send it to justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Again, that is justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Keep the email 2 to 3 paragraphs max. Be very direct and to the point of what your question actually is. The fastest way to work with me is to connect with me in my coaching program or in a one-on-one. All of the links for that are down below. With that being said, thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video.